Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, guys. It is I, your God, Isaiah Faithful, back at it again with another video. And today we got Viking season predictions. And as always, we usually have a guest on for most of these. I had a guest on for the Packers and the fucking Bears, but couldn't find anybody at the time. Someone probably will say something in the fucking chat or something. But for right now, we're gonna just do this by ourselves. We're gonna do probably a lot of these by ourselves, but it's alright. But again, let's get this bitch started. I don't know why it took me forever to say that. Let's get this started. So we have the Vikings 2021-2022 season predictions. We're gonna start off here in week 1 versus the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Cincinnati did good this year. Hopefully Joe Burrow playing better and stays healthy. He could be better. Again, he was just a rookie last year. He could get way better than he is. I like their defense here. Their defense did get good. I like the offensive line, what they did in the offseason. They did get better. I forget his name. I think it's Riley something. Riley, they got him in the offseason. That was a good pickup there. Great wide receiving core. It could be a possibly top 3 wide receiving core in the league. This offense is going to be good, but again, the defense I believe could be good, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to stop what Mr. Dalvin Cook has to bring with Minnesota. Minnesota, again, fixed up their offensive line. Quarterback play is still good as usual, with Kirk Cousins always being good. Kirk Cousins is the guy there. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he has to do. And then that defense got better. J. Jeff could be out for week 1. We're still uncertain about that. But even then, the Bengals had one of the worst rush defenses in the league last year. So I'm going to have to say my Minnesota wins week 1 here. So now heading into week 2, we have the, again, away. We're heading into the desert where Minnesota is going to face off against the mother flipping Cardinals. And against Kyler Murray in this offense. Damn, this is going to be a good matchup here for the young corners, especially going again. Another great game for these young corners for Minnesota. They're going off 2 games back to back against high elite wide receivers. The Bengals are still young with their wide receivers, but they could dominate in this league with the wide receivers. And then Arizona again with DeAndre Hopkins, Andy Isabella. You also got Green there too. With the wide receivers, you got Kyler Murray, as always being Kyler Murray. And then you got the running back core with with Connor. And I think, Connor and I forget who. But the defense, that's a thing, though. That's what worries about me with Arizona. And you already know I am I am one of the few people that are not high on Arizona this year. And I honestly think Arizona is going to lose this game as well. I think Dalvin Cook is going to have one of the best years of his career. And, again, I think Dalvin Cook is going to be great this year. Again, with the wide receiving core that they have there with J. Jeff. Hopefully J. Jeff is playing. You also got you got a young offensive line. You got God damn, their defense is still good at this point. I believe they'll be good at this point. So I think they go 2-0 to start the season off. Now, heading into Seattle. No, they are heading back home for their first home game of the year in week 3. They're going to be facing off against the Seattle Seahawks versus the 12 men. And this one's a tough one. It's really tough because Minnesota doesn't play really good against Seattle. And I don't think they've been in Seattle since Kirk Cousins has got there. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've had beaten them since they got there. Since Kirk Cousins has got there. But again, I'm gonna just keep on saying this. With Dalvin Cook there, if he gets most of the carries and he's getting yards at the yards, they're gonna win a lot of their games. J. Jeff is there. You got an offensive line that's great. I love what they did with their offensive line. I'll be stating that a lot. But with Seattle, you got Russell Wilson. If you have Russell Wilson there, you're gonna win 10 to 12 games. But they do have Tyler Lockett with DK. Another great game for this young cornerback core, young secondary core for Minnesota to get their game stepped up. Look, you're going against a bunch of high leverage passing offenses the first 3 weeks. So, this is going to be good for them. But I'm going to go with tradition. They always usually lose to Seattle, so I think they're gonna lose this one to Seattle. I think Russell Wilson can just do just enough to pass by Minnesota in this game. And now heading into Week 4, they are going to be playing at home again versus the Cleveland Browns, who I think are going to be the best, one of the best teams in the league this year. And not only that, with their defense, with Myles Garrett, Clowney both coming off the edge, you still have great cornerback with Johnson in the back. You have Johnson back there. Who else do they have at corners? Off the top of my head, I can't really remember, but they have a great team around them, a great defensive team. You still got Baker Mayfield, the most waking up dangerous every day. You still got Landry, who I think should be the number one wide receiver on that team. You still got OBJ. You got the running back core with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That running back core, and then their tight ends are stacked too. You have two fucking top 10 tight ends, in my opinion. No, not two top tight ends. You have a top 10 tight end, and what could have been a top 10 tight end with I forget his name, but he's their backup now. And I just don't think Cleveland should lose a lot of these games they play. So again, this is another great test for the defense of Minnesota. I just don't think you're gonna win here. You're playing against Cleveland, who I think is gonna have the best defense in the league. On paper, should be undefeated in my opinion. So they lose this game, falling to 2-2. Now at home again versus Detroit. I don't think there's no question about this. Jared Goff is not going to carry a team by himself, although the offensive line is great. They have no wide receiving core. No defense. They have defense. The head coach is great. I love their head coach's energy. I just think Dalvin Cook in that pass game, and hopefully the corners now going through 4 weeks of great offenses could just have a good day and be good. Now, heading into Week 6, I have Minnesota versus Carolina. This one's here weird here because I haven't really paid attention to Carolina that much besides Sam Darnold going there. So I don't really think the Carolina is going to be all that good. I mean, you do have Christian McCaffrey there, who's a good running back who could be the number one running back in the league again if he stays healthy. But you have Dalvin Cook. Again, you have Kirk Cousins, who had the same statistical stats as Russell Wilson last year. No, yeah. And he's playing lights out. And hopefully he plays lights out again in a season. He should continue to win. Hopefully his team stays healthy. A better offensive line there in Minnesota. Give me Minnesota to win here in Game 6. So now we head into Week 7 bye. I had them going 3-5 to start this season. No, my bad. I'm sorry. I had them going my bad, 4-2 going into the Week 7 bye. You could change up a thing. You could probably say they lose to Arizona. You could say that. We'll have to see. They could honestly just go 3-3, 4-2 to start the first 6 games of the year. But I think 4-2 makes more sense. So now we'll head into Week 8. We have the Cowboys versus Minnesota. Hey, Cowboys, man. I like the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, even though he's a Cowboy. But it's all right, you know. Zeke losing a lot of weight, making himself skinnier and built up. That offensive line a little questionable. The defense is where it matters most. That's going to be the deciding factor for all of Dallas's games. If the defense can step up, they're going to win a lot of their games. But I don't think they did enough to step up for this defense. I don't think the defense does enough to stop Dalvin Cook. And I think JJF is probably going to have one of the best games of his season. I mean, look at what happened last year, though. Minnesota did lose to Dallas. But I think this is a way different Minnesota team and a way better Minnesota team. You can say the same thing about Dallas. They hopefully get Dak Prescott back. But I think Minnesota is just going to squeak out a victory here. And now, heading to Week 10, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Minnesota Vikings, eh? So Minnesota playing the Vikings. Lamar Jackson is going to be a dangerous man in this game. A very, very dangerous man. And see this, I mean, fuck, it's gonna be a good matchup here. Their rookie, I forget his name for Baltimore. Hollywood's still there. Hollywood Brown. They got a great running back core. Their defense is good, led by Patrick Queen, and I think it's just hard to pick against Baltimore here. It's Man, I don't know. I honestly, yeah, I'm gonna say Baltimore wins here. Again, even with Minnesota having a good enough team, in my opinion, to put up a fight, I just think Baltimore is just a little better than them. And I think this is the year where we figure out Minnesota is a legitimate team in the league. So, but losing here isn't a bad thing if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan. So, let's go on to week 10 where you're going to be facing them off against Joe Burrow. No, Justin Herbert. I'm sorry, Justin Herbert. And the fucking LA Chargers, no fans. And week 10, I think, honestly, if the defense stays healthy, which, knock on wood, I have a wood desk here. Knock on wood, they do. But we say this every year. We say this every year about the Chargers. Oh, if they stay healthy, they're going to be a good fucking team. Blah, 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 this and that. But I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm sorry, but they never stay healthy. And them saying not healthy defensively is going to be the main reason why they don't win a lot of their games. And I'm going to have them going into week 10 beating the Chargers in LA. Now, we head to week 11 where we have Minnesota versus the Green Bay Packers. And this is going to be the first matchup of a two-game series in this rivalry. And I think Minnesota squeaks this one out. I think heading into this week 11 game, you know there's a lot of stake here. You have to win your games. You have to win your games. And I think here, Minnesota is going to beat the Packers. You could talk about how the Packers had such a great run defense last year. You could talk about this and that, how their defense was good last year. But I honestly think Kirk Cousins and that offense right there with J. Jeff and Dalvin Cook are going to go lights out. Are going to go absolutely lights out. The defense at this point, I believe, is going to be at the top of its game. I think this defense could be a top 5, top 10 legitimate defense in the league. And I think this week 11 game is going to be good for them to win. I think it's going to be good for them to win. So now, heading into week 12, you already know how I feel about this game. We got the Minnesota Vikings, versus the San Francisco 49ers in week 12. Whew. This is going to be a good game here. It's going to be a good game. J. Jeff facing off against Jason Verrett. That's going to be a good key matchup there for this game. And you got Dalvin Cook against the 49ers run defense, which is very inconsistent at times with the Niners run defense. We're not one of the best teams when it comes to the run, but one of the best teams when it comes to the pass. But last year, look at unhealthy. They got a top 5 defense last year. Minnesota, they did get better defensively. And again, like I said earlier, I think this defense at this point is going to be good. But I just don't think it's going to be enough to stop this Niner offense. And I think the Niner defense, when healthy, is the best defense in the league, but not this year. I don't think they're going to be the best defense this year. But I think a top 3 defense is legitimate for this Niner team. And I think the Niners squeak with this one out. Call me biased all you want, but I'm going to say the Niners win this game here. Heading into week 13 of the Minnesota Vikings versus Detroit. This is no question. Minnesota is going to win this game. They could have their third strings out there, and I'll still choose Minnesota to win that game there. I will choose Minnesota to win. Now, Minnesota facing off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you got the TikTokers versus Minnesota Vikings. I think Minnesota's going to put a beat down right here. I think Minnesota's going to put an absolute beat down on Pittsburgh. I'm not very high on Pittsburgh this year. And I'm gonna say they win this game. You can talk. Pittsburgh still has that defense there. They still have this defense. But I keep saying, Minnesota's defense is young and they're promising. And at this point, I think that promise, that the promising level of that they could bring is here already. By this time, I think Minnesota could be a top 10, top 5 defense and could dominate with that defense. And their offense already good as it is with Dalvin Cook. Give me the win there in week 14. Now heading into week 15. We have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. And Kirk Cousins, again, one of the worst players when it comes to playing underneath the lights. But I don't think it matters there. Like I said in my last video, I think this is a rebuild year. Not a rebuild. This is a year where chemistry and putting all the players together is important for the Bears. I think they win some games here. I think they lose some games there. But I think Minnesota is just a way better team. You could say Chicago has the defense, no question about that. Chicago has the defense, but the offense itself needs to click, and we need to know what's gonna happen with the Bears offense. Is it gonna click? Is it gonna click even more? We don't know yet. They're still young. They're still very young, and we'll have to see. But I think Minnesota wins here. Again, I just can't see Dalvin Cook being stopped. I think Dalvin Cook is gonna have one of the best seasons of his career this year. I'm gonna stand by that. So get ready for my hot takes at the end of this, because I have 3 hot takes for this season. So now, going into week 17, we have the LA Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings. And even though I hate the fucking Rams, even though I think Minnesota at this point is going to be a good-ass team, you have Matthew Stafford over there who knows how this Viking team plays. He knows how this team is. He's played them, forever. He's played them in 12 years, 11 years? Their defense is still good. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, they have Robert Woods, they have Cooper Kupp on that offense. I just can't see the Rams not winning this game. Again, Dalvin Cook is going to be a good player. I still think he's going to be a great-ass player. But I just can't see this team stopping the Rams. I think the Rams are just that good. I think the Rams are just that good of a team to not demolish teams, but get through teams. Not easily, but in a good way, they could beat teams. And I'm gonna say LA wins this game here. All right. So now heading into week 17, I have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers in these late games of the seasons where playoff hopes matter, where playoffs matter the most, they always get through. They always pull it off. They always somehow fucking win. They always ruin playoff team hopes, like how they did on 4th and 9 versus the Bears. They've ruined a lot of people's playoff chances. And I think Aaron Rodgers, being the guy that he is, the madman that he is, I just think he's just going to be good. Knowing that he lost to them week 11, he already knows what they're going to bring. He knows what they're going to bring this year. And I just think they lose here. Now, heading into week 18, the last game of the season, we have Minnesota versus the Chicago Bears. Chicago, again, like I've said before, I think this is not a chemistry year. They need to put it all together. And they need to just work it off to see what they could bring, what they could do. But do I think they do it? No. I don't think they win this game. I think Minnesota, knowing that this is the game they need to take the division and to win the division, they're going to want to do this. I think Minnesota wins the division. And I think Minnesota wins the division. But I think they also beat them here. Minnesota, at this point, are either a top 7, top 5 defense. Their offense is clicking a top 5, top 10 offense. I think Minnesota's going to be that sleeper team. No one's going to think they're going to make a playoff push or win the division. And for my first hot take, I have the Minnesota Vikings winning this division. I have them going 11-6 for the year, going 5-1 in the division, going 8-4 in the conference, winning 5-3 at home, 6-3 away. And I honestly think they're going to be a great team. I really like this team. Jay Jeff is going to be good as always. And my second hot take of the year, I think Dalvin Cook is going to be a 2,000-yard rusher. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be a 2K rusher this year. And for my final final hot take. If they play good enough, if they play great, and if they do something here, I think I think Kirk Cousins, statistically, stat wise, will be better than Russell Wilson. In every statistical category, I think he'll be better as a passing quarterback. I think he's going to be better. More touchdowns, more passing yards, you name it. I think he's going to be way better than Russell Wilson's stats. And I don't think it's far-fetched to say that. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that he could. I think last year he had the same amount of stats as he did. Damn near the same stats. So, yeah. Here's my predictions. I have the Vikings going 11-6 in the year. I think it's really possible that they could go 11-6. And tell me what you guys think in the fucking comments. And as always, I'm your guy Isaiah, motherfucking faithful. And as always, guys, peace off, cunts. Woo!